I'm guiding you. It's okay. Then, okay. So, sign in with the chat or message will appear here. Okay, sign in with the chat.
Really?
Sign in with the chat. Open your browser.
Just ignore the 28.
Hmm?
I'm just saying to them, just ignore the 35 seconds.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, I think it's all good now.
Okay.
I'll just check it there na lang. Okay, you can read it now.
Okay. Okay.
Try to be quiet, baby.
Okay. The Homeless Monkey by T. Albert.
Oh, let's wait for a while. I think the microphone is in the different microphone.
Meow, meow.
I think
Meow,
so.
meow, meow. Meow,
Wait lang, ha?
meow.
Yeah, it's different. This one is better. Okay. Say that.
The Homeless Monkey by T. Albert.
Hey.
Once upon a time.
Hey, I think there's one more. I don't know. Okay.
Once upon a time, there lived a monkey who had a home of his own. They called him Springs, for he always walked with a bounce in his steps. He had sold everything he owned, and with that money, he had started traveling the world. He wanted to see the world's smallest and biggest wonders. He traveled from village to village, town to town, and offered his services to do work in exchange for food and shelter. He was a happy monkey, and he loved helping people. One day he passed through the village of Zever, where 20 animals lived. He saw an old beaver, so he walked towards him and said, "Hello, Mr. Beaver. If I was to do some garden work for you today, would you be so kind to give me something to eat?" The old beaver agreed and asked Springs to do some gardening and fix up a few things around the house. It was a long and tiring day for Springs, but he enjoyed his day. When Springs returned to the house in the evening, the whole village has gathered there. There was a lot of food put out on the large wooden table, and everyone was celebrating as though a hero had come to their small village. They all had a great time that night. It was like a big party. There was dancing and lots of food, and Springs was really enjoying his evening. The following morning, when Springs was ready to leave, the old beaver approached Springs with tears in his eyes and said, "Thank you for joining us to dinner. Please come back whenever you have time. I have two boys around your age who I have not seen in 10 years. Spending time with you reminds me of my boys." Springs did not know what to say, so he just tugged the beaver, just like he would his father, and set off on his way with a promise to return one day. Springs had been walking for some time and was tired. He saw two highway robbers who pushed him down and took his bag away. When the robbers looked in his bag, they only found a rope, some tools, and some bread. They threw his bag on the ground and ran away. Springs picked up his backpack and continued on his journey. He started to think about the good and the bad in the world. The road was long and winding and finally led him to a dark forest. The only way he could continue his journey was to walk through the forest. Springs walked for more than an hour and then he realized he was lost. He decided to climb up a tree to relax and eat some of the bread the villagers have given him. Suddenly, Springs heard some voices shouting for help. He climbed down from the tree and ran in the direction the voices were coming from. Springs reached the place the voices were coming from. Spring reached the place that the two voices were coming from. He saw that the two robbers who had pushed him earlier that day were trapped inside a deep hole in the ground. They both were trapped and couldn't get out, and they were yelling for help. Spring quickly reached into his backpack and grabbed the rope that was inside. He tied one end of the rope to a tree and threw the other end in the hole. The robbers both quickly climbed up the rope to safety. The robbers were amazed that Spring had saved them. One robber asked, Why did you help us? We pushed you and tried to rob you earlier. Springs replied, There are good people and bad people in this world. The good people do good things and the bad people do bad things. I decided to be one of the good people. The two robbers were amazed by Spring's reply. Springs told the robbers, I have traveled far and wide, seen happiness as well as sorrow. I have met all kinds of people, good, bad, old, and young. I have experienced all sorts of bad things, but I have always tried to do only good things. As Springs was leaving, he gave the two robbers some bread with a smile and said, I hope what I have said today will help you realize that there is always a way to live without causing harm to others. The end to the first book. Okay, now the next book we are going to read is called Hide and Seek.
Yeah, that one download.
Hide and Seek.
Say that one by the autumn something.
Oh, Hide and Seek by T. Albert. Again. James, his sister Sally, and Mark, their BFFs, best friend forever, were bored. They had played all day, but now that it was dark and difficult to see, they had nothing to do. They couldn't play soccer because couldn't see the ball. They didn't want to go inside and play a game because it was a beautiful springtime night and they liked being outside, especially after having to play inside all winter long. They just didn't know what to do and it was a little too early for them to go home. I guess I'll just go home, Mike said in a sad voice. Oh, come on, replied James. We still have time for another game of something. Then Sally said, I have an idea. Let's play hide and seek.
Go ate, go ate, go ate. Bye ate. Keep reading.
I was going I was just going to say that, James said. Yeah, I'll bet, replied her sister. Yeah, I bet, replied her sister. You always say you're thinking of whatever I think of, she snapped. Do not, James said in a loud voice. Do too, yelled Sally. Mark just looked down at the ground and shook his head from side to side. They are at it again, he mumbled to himself. Then he yelled, Okay, let's play hide and seek. I'll be the seeker. He turned, faced the big tree and closed his eyes and started counting out loud. 100, 99, 98, 97. Sally and Mark stopped arguing, looked at each other and ran off in different directions to find a hiding spot. In the distance, they could still hear Mark counting. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready or not, here I come. Then he turned and began to look for places where they could be hiding. Finding Sally was easy. She always ran off and then circled back so she would be close to the base. The safe place to get before being tagged. Mark looked for the biggest tree and ran towards it. She wasn't there. I bet she's behind that big bush, he said to himself. So he ran and was ready to tag her, but she wasn't there either. As he turned around, he saw James running towards the base and darted after him. Just before he touched James' shoulder, James tagged the base and yelled out, Safe! Did you get Sally yet? James asked. No, said Mark. I haven't been able to find her and it's getting late and we need to be heading home. So both boys yelled out, Come on out, Sally! It's late! But there was no reply, not even a snicker from somewhere in the darkness. They yelled again, Come on out, Sally! It's late! Still there was no reply from Sally. They began to worry and start searching for her. As they walked around the area and they called out, Sally! Sally, come on, we give up, you're safe! But no matter where they looked or how much they called out, Sally didn't answer, as if she disappeared. Sally was wondering what had happened. All she could remember was crawling under the big chunk of a fallen tree to hide. Now as she looked up, she saw several stars through a small hole above her head. She had fallen into a hole where she crawled when she crawled under the tree trunk. Help! She yelled and heard her voice echoes throughout what must have been a cave. Help! 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 Did you hear that, James? Mike said excitedly. Sally just yelled for help. Keep yelling, Sally! James screamed. That way we can find you.
There's something static in your mic.
Sally heard her brother and kept screaming. After a short while, the boys were standing next to the big tree trunk. Hey, are you stuck under this tree? Asked James. Kind of, Sally yelled. When I crawled under it to hide, I fell into a cave. Please help me, I'm scared. It's dark and I can't get out. Mark said, James, you'll stay with Sally and I will go get my dad. Then he dashed off into the darkness. Don't be scared, James said. I am right here with you. No, you're not, Sally sobbed. You're up there and I'm down here. As Sally turned in the darkness of the cave, she bumped into something, screamed, and began to cry. What's wrong? James yelled. There's something down here with me, Sally replied in a shaky voice. Just then, Mark and his dad came running through the woods. Mark's father knelt down and asked Sally if she was okay. He could hear her crying and sobbing. Sally, are you hurt? He asked. No, she said, but I'm scared and there is something down here with me. Stand back, Sally. I am lowering a rope and will be down with you in a second. Mark's dad tied the rope to the tree, found the hole under the tree trunk, wiggled a bit, and lowered himself into the cave. Sally could see him coming down the rope and stopped crying. Not only he was there, but the cave became brighter from the beam of his flashlight as it danced across the cave's floors and walls. As he reached the floor of the cave, he shone the light on Sally and gave her a big hug. Don't be frightened, he said. I'll have you out in here in no time. Then he shone the light around and saw that she had fallen into a small cave. And very close to her in the middle of the cave was something wrapped in layers of old blankets. Mark, James, there's something down here. I'm going to tie it to the rope and then I want you to pull it out. Okay, they replied. The boys pulled the object, untied it, and let the loose end of the rope fall back into the cave. The cave wasn't deep, and Mark's dad boosted Sally over his head so she could crawl out. He then grabbed the rope and with a little jump was able to grab the opening and pull himself out. Let's go back to my house for a cup of hot tea. I'll call your parents so they aren't worried and we'll see what treasure Sally found, he said. When they got to Mark's house, they sipped their tea and began unwrapping the treasure. They carefully peeled off layers of old blankets and cloth to reveal a wooden box. They slowly opened it and stared in amazement. "Oh my," Sally said in disbelief. "I don't believe what I'm seeing." The boys and Mark's father just stared. Inside the box were jewels of every color you could imagine. There were diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and emeralds of all shapes and sizes, intermixed. They could see several of gold coins and strings of pearls. "We're rich," the boys screamed. "Not quite," interrupted Mark's father. "Someone could have lost this, and I don't think you should plan on spending any of it until we find a little bit more. Besides, Sally found it." "I'll share it," Sally said happily. That's nice. That's nice," Sally replied Mark's dad. "But the right thing to do is contact the authorities." The next day, the four of them and Sally's mom drove to the police station, explained what had happened, and gave the treasure to the police to hold while they conducted their investigation. They left the police station sadly, and even the double-dipped ice cream cones Mark's father bought them didn't make them smile. They drove back in silence. Several weeks passed with no word from the police. Then one evening, Mark's father called James, Sally, and their parents. "The police just called, and I think you should come over here right now," he said. "I'm afraid there is some bad news about the treasure. The police are on the way, and will explain everything when you get here." Sally and James didn't say much going to the right to Mark's house. Sally thought that since it was bad news, the treasure belonged to someone else, even though they probably lost it. "What happened to finders keepers?" she mumbled. "What did you say, Sally?" her mother asked. "Oh, nothing," Sally replied. Then she let out a long, sad sigh that echoed through the car. When they arrived at Mark's house, the police were there with the treasure box. As Sally entered, the captain introduced himself and said, "Sally, this is yours. Your parents need to sign some papers, but the box and its contents are yours." Sally, Mark, and James shrieked with joy and danced around the room. Then Sally said, "What is the bad news?" The captain smiled and said, "The treasure is worth more money than you can imagine, and with your newfound wealth comes great responsibility." Sally didn't quite understand what the captain was talking about, and right now it didn't really matter. Mark asked, "Are you going to share?" "Of course," Sally said. "If you and James didn't help me, I might still be there." Several days later, Sally asked everyone over to her house. "I've decided what to do with the money from the treasure after it is sold," she said. "I am giving 1/6 to our mom and dad, 1/6 to Mark's mom and dad, 1/6 to Mark, 1/6 to James, 1/6 and 1/6 for me. There's an extra 1/6, Mark proudly stated. He loved math, and he was right on top of Sally's calculation. No, there's not, Sally said. It is too, James said. It is not, Sally said in an angered voice. Just as Mark was going to say, they are at it again, Sally said. This is why there isn't an extra 1/6. 1/6. I am giving it to the local charity so it can be given to those less fortunate and need. Her mother and father said it was a caring and responsible thing to do. They were very proud of her and knew that she understood what the captain meant when he had turned the treasure over to her just days before. The end. The end. Bye bye, people. See you in the next podcast.